Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Katawa Shoujo. Last time, we got to the summer house because Lily's mad rich, yo. Shall we go in then? I'm parched. It was a long walk to get here. Lily gives an enthusiastic nod, the three of us lugging our bags into the house. Oh, nice little couch. As soon as we set foot inside, Hanako and I start looking around, talking in every detail of where we'll be staying for the next few days. All the artifacts of another's life stopped mid-motion are around the house, such as television guide laying beside the counter it was on, and pans in the adjoining kitchen still sitting above on the stove. It's a strange feeling, really, as if we're stepping into Akira's life for a brief moment, before leaving a couple days just as we'd come. Of course, the more mundane reality is that she just hasn't cleaned up after herself that well. Where should we put our bags? I'll show Hanako our bedroom. You can put yours here if you like. You mean I don't have the same bedroom as you two? You know, we're not all gonna be sleeping together. Wink wink. Hanako flowers into a full blush as Lily takes her cheek in her hand. Oh my, how bold. You too. Hold on. If I'm to leave my bags here, where will I be sleeping? Well, seeing as we lack a guest room, you'll be on the couch. The convertible futon, eh? Sorry, Hisao. I sigh, lamenting my place on the bottom rung of the sleeping location priorities. Guess there's just no other choice. There is another choice, you just have to be bold. Lily leaves to show Hanako to their bedroom, so I take a small tour of my surroundings after I drop my bag on the floor. The kitchen? It looks pretty western, yeah. The kitchen looks just like the living room. Its fairly modest, rustic nature of the wood furnishings drives home how far we are from civilization. Returning to the living room, didn't really want to stay in that kitchen for some reason. I decided to try it out the television until they get back. With a touch of the remote, it immediately flickers to life. Apparently, set to a news channel. Almost flopping down from exhaustion rather than sitting, I lay back and watch, and watch, and watch. Oh! Hisao? Ooh, it's nighttime and there's girls around. I quickly blink to wake myself up. Lily and Hanako have returned, minus their bags. And the sun went away. From Hokkaido, night sky is still visible outside the windows. It looks like I drifted off to sleep. Looking to the wall-mounted clock, it's already 10. You found the television then? Yeah, it really does feel nice and homey here. I'm glad you like it. You were already out like a light when we came back after unpacking our things, so we didn't have the heart to wake you sooner. Judging from her giggles, I must sound funny when I sleep. I decide not to inquire. There's some dinner waiting for you in the kitchen. Hanako gives a deep yawn, only just remembering to cover her mouth at the last second. My, are you tired? I didn't get much sleep last night. I'm pretty tired too. It was a long walk up here and it's getting late. If that's the case, I suppose we should retire for the night. Good night, Hisao. Good night. Night. With that, they quietly turn and walk into their bedroom. Rubbing my eyes, I sigh. I wonder if I'll be able to get back to sleep after being woken up. I suppose I'll eat something and watch some TV quietly before going to bed. Oh, that was a really fun and interesting thing you did there, Hisao. Eating dinner. Is he still sleeping? I think so. I'm not. I am, however, incredibly tired. It's getting late in the morning. I know that. He likely stayed up to watch TV. I could hear from our bedroom, only because I couldn't get to sleep. Should we wake him? Don't do that, Hanako, please. No, we should leave him. I doubt he'd want to be woken up early if he didn't get much sleep during the night. Thank you, Lily. Besides, he sounds so peaceful. It would be a shame to wake him when he's like this. Keep a straight face, Hisao. It is nice she cares so much, though. Hanako, could you go to the fridge and fish out what's needed to make lunch? Alright, just the vegetables and rice. That should be enough. We'll only need something simple as we can eat in town later. Hanako's footsteps on the carpeted floor can be heard, moving away from the living room. As they do, I feel Lily's hand gently rest on my chest. It takes a titanic effort not to react, but something about her makes me think she knows I'm awake. A long silence passes. The only thought in my mind is of that gentle outstretched hand upon my chest. After an indiscernible amount of time, Lily withdraws her hand. Good morning, Hisao. Conceding defeat all too easily, I prop myself up and rub my eyes. How'd you know? Your breathing was off. Well, that makes sense. She couldn't have needed that long to work it out. Knowing her hearing, she likely knew before ever laying her hand on me. If you want to sleep more, you should really go to bed earlier. I heard the television going long into the night. Sorry about that. My medication has been interfering with my sleep for a while now. Even if I'm tired, I have trouble actually sleeping. I'm sorry for bringing it up, Hisao. I sigh. This is exactly the kind of thing I wish other people wouldn't do. Oh goodness, it's been a while since I've actually checked the what to do now. Uh-oh. There's things going on in my life. But we're not going to look at those things right now. We're just going to look at our guide. It should be under G. Elemento guide. There it is. I think it doesn't matter, but that's okay. I'm probably going to address it if it doesn't matter. Oh yeah, we're going to address it. I felt like addressing it anyways. Come on, you worry about me more than I do at times. It just means I have to sleep a bit longer, that's all. But still, I'd say that I look absolutely fine, but I guess that wouldn't have a lot of meaning for you. She gives a sigh of consternation, before trailing off with an amused chuckle. Giving up the point. If you say so. Please do take care of yourself, Hisao. Go on, Hanako could use some help. She moves to protest, but reluctantly acquiesces and disappears. Acquiesce yourself? And her hand running along the smooth white walls as she slowly walks. For a while, I sit and watch television in an attempt to wake myself a little more, but it's futile. I don't have anything better to do, so I follow Lily's lead. As I round the corner, I see Hanako and Lily, backs turned, quietly cutting food on the granite counter. I'm temporarily engrossed as I watch Lily guiding the knife down with carefully with a finger on the cabbage she's cutting, each slice delivered slowly but with precision. She seems a little slow, but considering that she can't see what she's doing, it's a small wonder she can cook it all, let alone for her and Hanako. Hi, Hanako. Lily, want any help? Is that Hisao? Ah! Oh, morning, Hisao. Uh-oh, I hope she didn't cut herself. Lily jerks back in surprise before turning around, her yelp immediately drawing Hanako and I to her side. What's a small trickle of scarlet follows downward from her pale fingertip, the knife having cut just deep enough to draw blood. With the television sound masking my footsteps, she must not have noticed me coming. To compensate for having to use touch to guide everything she does during cooking, she must need to pay extra attention. Lily! Don't worry, Hanako, it's just a small wound. You should still get a band-aid on it, at least until it stops bleeding. First aid stuff would be in the bathroom, right? I think so. Will you be okay here, Hanako? I frown at how little heed she's paying to herself as Hanako gives a quick, almost automatic nod. It's fine. I can keep making lunch. An awkward silence reigns as I set the bottle of antiseptic and box of band-aids on the side of the sink. Lily's finger held out for me to treat. Still, the bottle comes off with a minimum resistance, and the small ball of cotton I soak into the liquid stains a pale green. Okay, hold still, this'll probably hurt a bit. She gives a small nod as I take her hand to steady it. With all the tenderness I can muster, I gently bring the dampened wad down to the small line. Ah! What, I've barely touched it. Sorry. I give a sigh both at her reaction and to settle my own nerves. Her own pain tolerance is startlingly low. Man, I would tell you to man up, but I really can't do that. As she gives a small giggle, I take advantage of her momentary distraction and gently press the cotton against her finger a few times. Thankfully, it's enough to do the job. We both settle somewhat as I bring the band-aid over the tip of her finger, covering the wound while making sure not to get it stuck to her fingernail. There. Finished. You can move now. Taking her hand from mine, she gently clasps it in the other. Thank you. It's no problem. It's the least I can do after causing you to hurt yourself, after all. She lowers her hand. I don't think she has a bandage on any of her fingers. That's okay, though. That would be kind of annoying to do. She lowers her head slightly at the apology, absent-mindedly rubbing her hand in what seems to be embarrassment. I really don't mind. Her answer doesn't seem to make much sense, given that what happened is pretty clearly my fault. I can't help but grimacing at her, despite the fact that her dainty smile still holds. She must not like being reminded of the limitations of her lack of sight imposes her. It's something I can't possibly fault her for. I've fallen prey to the same kind of feelings before. Oh no, that's still just my group me. It's something I can't possibly fault her for. I've fallen prey to the same kind of feelings before, despite my condition not being nearly as ubiquitous in my life. Neither of us any the happier. We head back to the various smells of cooking food from the kitchen. I lay at the plates of food, steam slowly rising from the well-cooked rice and curry dishes, while Hanako lays out the cutlery. Knife on one side, fork on the other, knife on one side, fork on the other. Western. How perfectly fitting for someone like Lily. As we take our seats, careful heed of dark red tablecloth hanging below our knees, Lily emerges from the kitchen. In her hands there are 3 glasses and a bottle of wine. Are we gonna get tipsy again? As I recall our previous run-in with that devilish elixir, I hide my face on my palm. Alcohol? Seriously? She passes as she reaches the table, a playful grin perched on her face. Akira specifically gave permission to take a bottle from her collection. Not only does she give alcohol to minors, she even lets them pilfer their own. The perfect model of responsible adult, Akira is not. More to the point, though, is that this is hardly a meal deserving of alcohol. I'm starting to think that Lily's the type to easily get hooked on things. The only thing she needs to get hooked on is phonics, alright? That's not nearly the problem. That's not really the problem. I don't have qualms with it, but didn't you have a bad experience with it last time? Last time it was likely to drinking too much. Oh great, now she's a lush. So a single glass shouldn't prove a problem. Think of it as a learning experience. I can't recall many learning experiences that made me feel that rotten before putting me to sleep. You've obviously never taken American history. But I'll take your word for it. She dips an uninjured finger to feel the liquid level, the tip against the bottom as the liquid rises up. The white of her finger almost seems to glow as the sunlight hits it, the delicate outline blurred and refracted by the glass. Her fingers are definitely longer than mine. Ooh, got them long fingers. The kind that I'd think that more suited to a pianist than a teacher. She'd likely have done well if she'd learned how to play. We quickly dig into our meal, forks and knives clattering against plates. None of us are particularly eager to speak while talking. Lily, altogether too reserved for such a thing. Hanako too shy to start a conversation, and I too busy eating that food, just yumming on it, boy. Such a pedestrian activity, eating together at a table, seems so utterly normal, yet it makes me realize how long it's been since I've done something like this. Just the three of us. Mom, Dad, and daughter. You can figure out who's who. Just the three of us sitting around a single table, eating as if we were a malformed family. Maybe this trip, as far away from everything as we are, was worth it. It takes quite a long time, but eventually we all finish our surprisingly filling meal. The wine thankfully has little effect, given we've only had a glass or two each. I slump back into the seat, rubbing my stomach contentedly. I'm stuffed. Twice, only twice, and Lily pats her mouth with a napkin twice, only twice, and with evenly timed intervals in between. It's hard to tell sometimes whether how she acts is a well-trained routine or a well-rehearsed act. I think I must be as well. Did you like it, Hanako? It was nice. Now that we're fed, shall we be off? Off where? You weren't privy to the discussion, between Hanako and I earlier. I get the impression she's having a subtle dig at my sleeping in. We'll be going into the town nearby. I guess I should have expected the two girls to take a holiday as an excuse to go shopping, no matter where on the planet they may be. Wow, that's absolutely, that's brutal, Hisao. I'm interested to see more around the north, though, so this can only be a good thing. Sounds good. How long is the walk in, then? It's supposed to be around a mile to a mile and a half. Nearby, huh? Great. Just great. Just great! As we climb up the path, surrounded by trees and undergrowth, I watch Lily and Hanako walking ahead. The slight breeze all but whisks away the sound of Lily's cane gently tapping on the ground. I notice Lily's since removed the band-aid now that the bleeding has stopped. A deep lungful of fresh country air makes me wish all the harder that the air around home could had been quite so clean. It can't have been even half a mile, but I'm already working up a sweat. It isn't a pleasantly cool day though, so I shouldn't be too hard on myself for it. Hey Lily, how well do you know this town anyway? Since I spent quite a few of my vacations up here until I entered Yamaku, I'd say I know it fairly well. We used to drive there once a weekend then. How I wish Akira was here to drive us now. Stop being lazy, Hisao. I quickly take a moment to rub my hands with a couple times, staving off the oddly cold feeling in them. Did you like it up there? Here? I'd say it was nice during winter, but as you can work out, summers get a little too hot for my comfort. It's quite nice at least. It's nice and quiet at least. My family's real house is quite far south. When they left Japan, my parents gave it to Akira and I. Only Akira lives there now after my moving into Yamaku. Well, quite certainly describes this place. The lonely is how I'd put it. Other than the prophesized small town, there isn't another soul for miles around. Coming from a home nestled deep within the big city, it's certainly different. I think that if I'd not come to Yamaku, staying out in the country like this would be too much of a change to get used to. After getting accustomed to the school's isolation, though, the idea of living in a place such as this has become almost inviting. To be somewhere away from the hustle and bustle of metropolitan centers? So, Hisao, have you been to Hokkaido before? Nah, I used to live down south. We never had any field trips or holidays this far. This must be it's a new experience for you then. Yeah, it is. I'm surprised at how nice it feels here. How about you, Hanako? She shakes her head from side to side. It's my first time too. Oh no, your first time will be on a different playthrough. As we continue walking, I begin to feel the pins and needles in my legs. It's a little disturbing given that there's no reason for it to be happening. Could you two just hold on a minute? I just need to... Is there anything wrong? Nah, I've just got pins and needles in my vocal cords suddenly become taut as my chest tightens instantaneously. I quickly pull my upper arm over it, trying to quell the shot of pain spreading throughout my entire body. Hisao. Lily's face is only mildly concerned, not knowing the sight which Hanako's recoiling from. I'm fine, just tired. I remove my arm from my chest and force myself to begin walking in. It's just a minor heart flutter, so it'll pass like the others. It takes only a couple steps before my body violently revolts against me. My legs suddenly beginning to give away underneath me, on all tension in my knees seeming to evaporate. Before I can react, they uselessly give way under my weight, leaving me just enough time to brace myself and fall onto all fours. Damn. Hisa! As I look up to her, realize my face is still taut with pain, only adding that much more to her worrying. Hisao. Hanako, tell me what's going on. Hanako, tell me. Hanako quickly moves to my side as Lily almost panics. Having little clue as to exactly how bad a condition I'm in, while she stands there petrified, I lower my face and take a deep breath. I come to the realization that makes me endlessly irritated with my stupid self. With all the excitement of my new surroundings, I'd entirely neglected to take my medications last night or even this morning. You frickin' idiot. You're a big dummy. You're dumb boy. Dummy. Taking another breath, the acute pain in my chest begins to slowly die down as it arrived. Thank God, thank God, thank God, thank God, thank God. As it does, I become acutely aware of the sweat now pouring off my face and the two scared girls around me. Hisao? I'm fine, Lily. I'm fine. I screw up my brow in an effort to lever myself up, Hanako's arms quickly moving to catch me if I fall as I stumble a bit before regaining my balance. I look to Lily and Hanako, worry written on both their faces. I feel awful, utterly awful. I think we should go back. Realizing the futility of protesting, I look away in frustration. Fine. Well, that's fun. We almost died again. Because Hisao was dumb. No offense to the girls, but I don't think they can carry me to a hospital. I don't even know if a hospital's nearby. It's a small town. I open my eyes groggily, completely bereft of energy. For a while I simply lie down lifelessly, staring at the ceiling as I review the events of the morning in an attempt to organize my thoughts. We went to walk to town. My heart nearly gave way. We came back, I took my pills, I slept. I can only remember each period of time as a snapshot, but the timeline is clear enough. The memory of the girls' faces as I struggled to stand is an unpleasant one, stinging my feelings harshly. Hey, maybe if you don't want to worry people, maybe you should take care of yourself, you idiot. Yeah, no, I'm not just talking to Hisao, I'm talking to you too. Yeah, you're listening to me. Take care of yourself, you dummy. Mad at you. Take care of yourself, idiot. Mad. Alright, back to the game. If I look at the ceiling hard enough, I can imagine the tile edges and small dimples of the ceiling in the hospital. That fact is enough to make me sit up and try to pull myself together. I scratch the back of my disheveled hair. Glancing around the room, Lily and Hako are nowhere to be seen and the television's turned off. The clock above it says it's pretty late in the afternoon. Let's say like 3 or 4 p.m. The noticeably reddened sky outside the windows confirms it further. Maybe even 5. This is the summer after all. I turn and pick myself up off the futon, swaying slightly as I put my arms out for balance. I suppose I'd better go look for the girls to see if they're alright. Hisao, I know that you care about other people, but care about your frickin' self once in a while, you dummy. As I look out the window, I faintly see something in the distance. Straining my eyes, I can just make out the shape of a person's figure. Her blonde hair, swaying in the faint breeze, makes her almost seem to melt in the bright yellow of the wheat field. Without a second thought, I leave the room to follow that lone apparition. The brightness of the setting sun salts my freshly woken eyes, forcing me to avert them until they adjust. The long yellow strands of wheat brush against my legs as I wade through them. The densely grown field is making it hard to advance. Regardless, my eyes stay fixed ahead, true to that solitary figure. Within minutes I reach her. Meters behind her, turn back. Lily? She simply nods. Where's Hanako? She's in bed. She went to sleep after I calmed her down. She says it matter-of-factly, and with as few words as possible, as if saying any more was strictly forbidden. There's something different about her. Her normally confident figure seems oddly fragile, her body offering no resistance to the breezing blowing her skirt. The strands of wheat, sway from side to side while a deafening pause passes. The only sound being their rustling. As we stand in the field alone, I know what I have to ask. What's wrong, Lily? You're not acting like you usually do. Remember when I talked with my family, Hisao? Your family? I looked downwards in thought. Sifting through my scattered memories, the event seems to leap ready to hand when I search for it, rising to the surface as soon as it was recalled. After Hanako's birthday party, she gives a single simple nod. It was nice. Back then, you and I, celebrating with Hanako, simply sharing presents, talking, having fun together. It's almost as if we were a family. One small, misshapen family. I thought that could go on forever, just the three of us happily together. She takes a long breath, a slight shakiness to it, barely audible through the moving air. Even if my family was so far away, as long as we were together, that was all I needed. I don't want to lose you, Hisao. I didn't even realize how afraid I was of losing someone else until today. I'm sorry, Lily. I know my body's weak, but even then I make the most of stupid mistakes. Don't apologize. Please don't apologize. Lily? She turns to face me, her pale cheeks stained with tears. One misguided step after another, she stumbles towards me, her arms held out in search of so much as a faint brush against me. Now, this is actually beautiful. My heart doesn't race nor pound as I step towards Lily, gently taking and steadying her in my arms as she quickly clutches to me, sobbing. With her face trembling against my shoulder, the next words from her mouth are the last I expected. I love you, Hisao. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. I love you. Don't go away, I beg of you. Never, ever go away. I love you, so please. So that's why she's been acting like this. That tender voice when I called her. Her thoughtless concern at the slightest pain I might feel. After having been left in Japan without her family and with only Akira and Hanako and I around, she was afraid of losing yet another person that was close to her. She was genuinely worried for me. I think it's a strange feeling. A mix of surprise and sorrow, yet also of the deepest gratitude I think I've ever felt. The only reaction I can muster among my conflicting emotion is a calming sigh. You idiot. Hisao? For a fleeting moment, I feel her body still. The only moment to be felt is the calm afternoon breeze. I said it before, didn't I? It's only natural to feel concerned about those around you. I'm still here, and I always will be here, because I want to see you more each day, to share in your happiness, to support you in your sadness. But most of all, I'll still be here because I want to see your smile, your true smile. A single gust of wind rustles the long strands of wheat. A second's silence passes. Smile when you want to smile, cry when you want to cry. I love you, Lily. So you don't have to hold back anymore. With that, her arms clutch my back as tightly as she can, her face buried beside mine. Her tears fall down my back and she cries unrestrainedly as the last of her resistance melts away. Hisao. 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 I close my eyes and bring my head down to her shoulder, holding her shaking frame closely. It's okay, Lily. I'll never go away. I promise. We slowly walk back to the house, holding each other tightly. As we take a seat inside, Lily leans her head on my shoulder as I put my arm around her waist. Neither of us has any want to break the silence. With her eyes shut, it's hard to work out whether she's fallen asleep, not that I mind. The warmth of her body leaning against me, the softness of her hand delicately in mine. For a long, long time, we sit leaning against one another, sharing our warmth and feelings as the night eventually begins to settle in. Lily's soft, gentle voice ends the silence. Thank you, Hisao. Thank you? For returning my feelings. Did you think I wouldn't? There was the possibility. I take a deep breath and thought, that much was only my fault. It's funny, actually, I was thinking about telling you my own feelings sometime soon. I guess you saved me the effort. She raises her head a little and gives a tiny amused giggle. I smile at how earnest it is, so girlish in its lightness. She collects herself soon, her hair resting against my shoulder. Feeling a bit better? She gives a small nod. You are thoughtful, Hisao. That's why I like you. I thought it was my charming good looks. I mean, I'm sorry I'm like this. As much as I didn't want to make you concerned for me, I couldn't do anything to prevent it. Yes, you could have. It's called take your pills, you idiot. Don't apologize for it, please don't. Lily? Have I ever apologized for my blindness, even once? You can't help the way you were born, Hisao. There's no point in apologizing for who you are. She says this with surprising conviction. In the end, it was perhaps this mentality which spurred her to befriend me in such a short amount of time. In addition to her motherly instincts, she did seem to become trusting very quickly. But I'd never questioned why. Now it seems obvious that she did so to help me as I went through one of the lowest points of my life. I moved to respond but cut myself off as I feel her fingers gently run through my hair. I feel their soft and delicate touch moving downwards to trace the contours of my face, her palm finally settling on my cheek. You're a beautiful person, Hisao. Don't ever apologize for that. For a moment, I'm utterly speechless. I slowly bend my head down, placing a tender kiss on her light, voluminous hair. We're a couple of right old fools, aren't we? We are. After a long calm, she speaks again. Hisao? Yeah? I wouldn't mind if you... I feel her hand tensing at her mind, trembling slightly. My mouth opens, but try as I might, I can't formulate a response to her proposition. Lily? Before I can say another word, she slips her hand from under mine and tenderly holds the side of my face once more. Please. I give a peaceful smile, holding her hand against my cheek as I nod a single time. Okay. As I look into her eyes, she leans towards mine. Her delicate lips touch mine. As she guides herself with her hand, she breaks off not a second later, faintly smiling. I love you, Hisao. We kiss again, this time with both of us meeting the other. While the previous kiss was one of love, this one is of lust. Our tongues meeting and our breathing heavy. After seconds we part, both of our faces well and truly flushed. Both of us bring our fingers to our lips in unison, recalling that fleeting feeling, rapidly becoming buried both by our urges and bashfulness. Lily is the first to shift this uncomfortability, though. What is it? Should we get more comfortable? Okay. Now that she mentions it, this futon would be a little bit too narrow to do much on. You devilish boy. Considering the thoughts running through both our minds, it's no small wonder one of us has any measure of foresight left. I take her hands and guide her sideways as I move, the brief and awkward dance ending with both of us tentatively sitting on the floor opposite each other. As I reach forward to pull her top up, whoa, alright, this is getting a little hot and heavy. Let's get ready. Get the throat quenched? Get ready, boys. As I reach forward to pull her top off, she stops after she moves back her hands to do the same. You're shaking. I pause for a moment and look at my hands. Sure enough, they're quivering slightly. Whether it's from nervousness or excitement, I'm not sure. I guess I am. So, you're as nervous as I am, then? I withdraw my hands and sigh, steadying myself. We have plenty of time, so there's no need to rush this. Sorry. It's my first time, so I'm a bit... She giggles. Shakily, but confirming what I reasonably deduce by now. It's the same for me. I'm happy we could share this together. I match her smile twofold, leaning forward and taking her body in my arms as she reaches to hug me back. I love you, Lily. You already said that. I can't help but help grinning. Even in such a situation, she still has her wits about her. Breaking our embrace, we decide to take off our own clothing. It's easier this way. I don't doubt it's just an attempt to distract ourselves from our nerves. With slightly stiff hands, I begin to slide the button out from my shirt. Once we remove the last of our clothes, which end up haphazardly piled behind us, my breath is taken by the sight in front of me. Ooh, my. Oh, my. We're getting cuddly with them cuddlefishes, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink. Well, that was a delight. I guess that's what happens when you turn off adult content. Guys, I don't know how I can even end an episode better than that. Stay safe, have fun, and I know it's not easy, but try to find that person that, you know, you can share your smiles with and will support you through the sadness. Alright. Remember, one of those things is more important than the others. Bye.